Have you ever wondered whether one of the biggest threats to your long term health isn't something you can see, taste, or even feel? Scientists have found tiny plastic particles in our drinking water, the air we breathe, the food we eat, and even inside human blood, lungs, and other tissues. At the same time, chronic, low grade inflammation has become one of the most studied drivers of many age related health conditions. But here's what makes this story so fascinating. Research suggests that one simple, everyday food, something inexpensive and available in almost every grocery store, may help support your body's natural defense systems in ways researchers are only beginning to understand. And it isn't an expensive supplement or trendy detox product. It's a humble cup of berries. Before we go any further, it's important to understand something. No single food can magically remove microplastics from the body, and no diet can eliminate every source of exposure. But scientists are discovering that certain foods may support the body's own detoxification pathways, help maintain healthy cells, and reduce some of the inflammation associated with environmental stressors. That's a very different message, and it's one grounded in evidence rather than hype. Today, we're exploring what the latest research suggests about berries, inflammation, and your body's remarkable ability to protect itself. Along the way, you'll discover why researchers studying nutrition, longevity, and healthy aging have become increasingly interested in colorful fruits that many people overlook. And perhaps even more surprising, you'll learn why the answer isn't about detoxing in the way social media often describes it. For decades, many people believed that detoxification required expensive cleanses, restrictive diets, or special products promising dramatic results in just a few days. The wellness industry has built an enormous business around this idea. Juice cleanses, detox teas, and countless supplements often claim to flush toxins from the body. However, researchers later discovered something surprising. Your body already comes equipped with incredibly sophisticated detoxification systems. Every second of every day, your liver transforms potentially harmful compounds into forms that can be eliminated. Your kidneys filter your blood continuously. Your digestive system, immune system, lungs, and even your skin all play important roles in managing waste and maintaining balance. Instead of asking how to force detoxification, scientists have begun asking a different question. How can nutrition support these natural systems so they function at their best? That shift in thinking has changed the conversation entirely. At the same time, another health challenge has gained worldwide attention: microplastics. Microplastics are tiny fragments created as larger plastic products break down over time. They can also come from synthetic clothing fibers, food packaging, cosmetic ingredients, tire wear, and many everyday products. Because these particles are so small, they can travel through air and water, eventually making their way into food chains. Evidence indicates that most people are exposed to microplastics on a regular basis. Scientists continue to investigate exactly what this means for long-term health. While many important questions remain unanswered, laboratory studies and early human research suggest that certain types of plastic particles may contribute to oxidative stress and inflammatory responses under some conditions. And this is where the story takes an unexpected turn. Researchers studying nutrition realized they might not need to find foods that directly remove plastic particles. Instead, they began investigating foods that strengthen the body's resilience against oxidative damage and chronic inflammation. Among the foods receiving the most attention are berries, blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, raspberries. Each one contains hundreds of naturally occurring plant compounds known as polyphenols. These compounds help protect the plants themselves from environmental stress, sunlight, insects, and disease. Interestingly, scientists have observed that when humans eat foods rich in these compounds, some may also interact with important biological pathways involved in inflammation and cellular protection. This doesn't mean berries are medicine, it means they're part of a dietary pattern consistently associated with better health outcomes. One of the most important concepts in modern nutrition science is oxidative stress. Imagine your body's cells as busy cities filled with millions of tiny factories producing energy. During normal metabolism, these factories naturally create unstable molecules, often called free radicals. In small amounts, these molecules are actually useful. They help with immune function and cellular signaling. Problems may arise when free radicals are produced faster than the body can neutralize them. That's when oxidative stress increases. Research suggests oxidative stress may contribute to aging and is associated with many chronic conditions that become more common as we grow older. Fortunately, our bodies produce powerful antioxidant systems to keep this process under control. Even more interesting, many foods appear to support these natural defenses. Among the richest dietary sources are deeply colored berries. Their vibrant blues, reds, and purples come from compounds called anthocyanins. These pigments don't simply make berries beautiful. Evidence suggests they may influence inflammatory pathways, support blood vessel function, and help protect cells from oxidative damage. But that's not even the most fascinating discovery. Scientists once believed antioxidants worked mainly by directly neutralizing free radicals. Today, researchers believe the story is much more complex. Instead of acting only as tiny chemical shields, certain plant compounds appear to communicate with our cells. They may activate genes involved in the body's own defense mechanisms, encouraging cells to strengthen their internal protective systems. In other words, these foods may help your body do what it was designed to do more efficiently. That's a remarkable shift in understanding. One pathway attracting enormous scientific interest is known as NRF2. Although the name sounds technical, its role is surprisingly easy to understand. Think of NRF2 as one of the body's internal emergency coordinators. When activated, it helps regulate the production of protective enzymes involved in managing oxidative stress and supporting normal detoxification processes. Research suggests that several plant-based foods, including berries, contain compounds capable of influencing this pathway. Scientists continue studying exactly how strong these effects are in real-world diets, but the findings have generated significant excitement because they focus on supporting natural biology rather than overriding it. However, inflammation adds another layer to the story. Many people think inflammation is always harmful. Actually, inflammation is essential for survival. If you cut your finger, your immune system creates inflammation to begin healing. If you catch an infection, inflammation helps coordinate the body's defense. The real concern is persistent, low-grade inflammation that continues for months or years without resolving properly. Researchers sometimes describe this as one of the hallmarks of unhealthy aging. Unlike the obvious redness or swelling from an injury, chronic low-grade inflammation often goes unnoticed, yet evidence suggests it may influence cardiovascular health, metabolic health, brain aging, and immune function over time. Diet is only one piece of this puzzle. Physical activity matters, sleep matters, stress management matters, avoiding smoking matters. But nutrition remains one of the few factors we can influence every single day, and berries continue appearing in study after study. Scientists have observed associations between higher berry consumption and markers of healthy vascular function, improved antioxidant capacity, and lower levels of certain inflammatory biomarkers in some populations. Of course, associations don't prove cause and effect. That's why controlled clinical trials are so valuable. Several intervention studies have explored what happens when participants regularly consume blueberries or other berries over weeks or months. While results vary depending on the study design and participant population, many suggest improvements in measures related to oxidative stress, endothelial function, or inflammation. Researchers emphasize that berries are most effective as part of an overall healthy dietary pattern rather than as an isolated solution. Yet the real discovery came years later. Scientists studying the gut microbiome began noticing something unexpected. Many of the beneficial compounds found in berries aren't fully absorbed in the small intestine. Instead, they continue traveling to the colon, where trillions of gut microbes begin breaking them down. In other words, part of the benefit may depend not only on the berries themselves, but also on the tiny organisms living inside us. This transformed how scientists viewed nutrition. Rather than thinking of food simply as calories, researchers increasingly began seeing food as information. Every meal sends signals. Some dietary patterns appear to encourage beneficial microbial communities. Others may encourage less favorable ones. Evidence indicates that berry polyphenols can interact with the gut microbiome in complex ways, while the microbiome transforms these compounds into additional metabolites that may influence health. It's a fascinating partnership. And this may have implications far beyond digestion. Scientists now recognize that the gut communicates continuously with the brain, immune system, liver, and metabolism. This communication network is often called the gut-brain axis, although its reach extends throughout the body. Maintaining a diverse and balanced microbiome has become one of the most active areas of longevity research. Interestingly, berries also provide dietary fiber, another nutrient consistently associated with healthier gut bacteria. Fiber serves as fuel for beneficial microbes, allowing them to produce short-chain fatty acids that help support the intestinal lining and healthy immune regulation. This creates a powerful combination: polyphenols, fiber, vitamins, minerals, natural plant compounds working together. Nutrition scientists often refer to this as the food matrix, the idea that whole foods deliver packages of interacting nutrients that may work differently than isolated supplements. That's one reason whole berries continue attracting so much research attention. But there's another question many people ask. If berries are so beneficial, does the type matter? The answer is more nuanced than many headlines suggest. Blueberries are particularly rich in anthocyanins. Strawberries provide abundant vitamin C along with unique polyphenols. Blackberries offer impressive fiber content. Raspberries combine fiber with numerous phytochemicals under active investigation. Different berries contain different combinations of beneficial compounds. Instead of searching for the single best berry, researchers generally encourage variety. Different colors often reflect different phytochemical profiles. Different phytochemicals may influence different biological pathways. Nature rarely places all its benefits into one package. Another misconception involves serving size. Some people assume that if one serving is beneficial, several bowls must be dramatically better. Nutrition science rarely works that way. Most studies investigating berries use realistic daily amounts, often around 1 cup of fresh berries or the equivalent frozen portion, as part of an overall balanced diet. Consistency appears to matter more than extremes. Eating a moderate amount regularly may provide greater long-term benefit than consuming very large amounts only occasionally. And frozen berries deserve special attention. Many people assume fresh berries are always superior. Surprisingly, frozen berries are often harvested at peak ripeness and frozen quickly, helping preserve many nutrients and phytochemicals. In some situations, frozen berries may contain nutrient levels comparable to fresh fruit. That makes them an affordable and practical option throughout the year. This matters because healthy habits succeed when they're sustainable. The healthiest diet isn't the most expensive one, it's the one you can realistically maintain month after month and year after year. As researchers continue studying environmental exposures like microplastics, one message has become increasingly clear. Supporting your body's natural resilience may be more powerful than chasing quick fixes. And the foods we choose every day appear to play an important role in that resilience. But researchers uncovered another fascinating connection involving berries, one that extends beyond inflammation and may influence the health of your blood vessels, your brain, and even how well your body ages over the decades. That discovery may change the way you think about a simple bowl of fruit forever. The reason that discovery captured so much attention is because healthy aging isn't just about living longer. It's about preserving the quality of those extra years. Scientists increasingly use the term health span to describe the years of life spent in good physical, mental, and metabolic health. And one of the strongest predictors of health span may be something we rarely think about: the health of our blood vessels. Every organ in your body depends on an uninterrupted supply of oxygen and nutrients. Your heart can pump blood only as effectively as your arteries allow it to flow. Over time, factors such as chronic inflammation, oxidative stress, poor sleep, inactivity, smoking, and unhealthy dietary patterns may gradually affect the flexibility of blood vessels. Researchers have found that certain compounds in berries, particularly anthocyanins, may help support normal endothelial function. The endothelium is the thin layer of cells lining the inside of blood vessels. Although only one cell thick, it plays an enormous role in regulating circulation, blood pressure, and communication between the bloodstream and surrounding tissues. When the endothelium functions well, blood vessels can relax and expand more efficiently in response to the body's needs. Scientists believe this flexibility is an important marker of cardiovascular health. This doesn't mean a bowl of blueberries can prevent heart disease on its own. Rather, evidence suggests that regularly eating foods rich in polyphenols may contribute to a dietary pattern associated with healthier vascular function over time. However, that's not the most interesting part. The brain may also benefit from the same biological pathways. Your brain consumes an extraordinary amount of energy despite representing only a small percentage of your body weight. To perform well, it relies on healthy circulation, stable energy production, and protection against excessive oxidative stress. Researchers have observed that diets rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts, and berries are associated with better cognitive aging in many populations. Some clinical studies have also explored whether regular berry consumption may support aspects of memory and executive function, particularly in older adults. While more research is still needed, the findings have encouraged scientists to continue investigating these relationships. One reason is that inflammation and oxidative stress don't affect only muscles or blood vessels. They also influence the environment in which brain cells function. Scientists now understand that healthy aging involves maintaining communication among billions of neurons while also supporting the cells that nourish and protect them. Again, no single food determines brain health, but consistent dietary choices may gradually influence the biological environment in which the brain operates. And that's an empowering idea, because every meal becomes an opportunity to support long-term health. Another fascinating area of research involves metabolic health. Many adults assume metabolism inevitably slows with age and that little can be done about it. The reality is more encouraging. While aging does bring changes, lifestyle remains one of the strongest influences on metabolic function. Maintaining muscle through resistance exercise, getting adequate sleep, managing stress, and following a balanced diet all play important roles. Berries fit naturally into this picture. Unlike many highly processed snacks, berries provide sweetness alongside fiber, water, vitamins, and beneficial plant compounds. Fiber slows digestion, helping create a steadier release of natural sugars into the bloodstream. This combination may help support healthy blood sugar regulation as part of an overall balanced eating pattern. Researchers have also investigated whether berry polyphenols influence insulin sensitivity and metabolic signaling pathways. Although results vary among studies, the growing body of evidence suggests these compounds deserve continued scientific attention. Yet the story becomes even more interesting when we look at aging itself. For many years, scientists viewed aging primarily as a result of wear and tear. Today, researchers recognize aging as a far more dynamic process involving numerous interconnected biological systems. Inflammation, cellular stress, DNA repair, immune regulation, mitochondrial function, gut microbiome diversity, blood vessel health. These systems constantly interact with one another. Nutrition doesn't control every aspect of aging, but it influences many of them simultaneously. That's one reason experts often recommend dietary patterns rather than individual, quote, superfoods. The Mediterranean-style diet, for example, consistently appears in longevity research. Its foundation isn't built on exotic ingredients. Instead, it emphasizes vegetables, fruits, legumes, nuts, olive oil, whole grains, fish, and moderate portions of minimally processed foods. Berries fit naturally within this broader pattern. Scientists studying populations with exceptional longevity often observe the same theme. People rarely rely on one magical ingredient. Instead, they practice hundreds of small, healthy behaviors consistently over decades. That lesson may be the most valuable of all, because consistency quietly outperforms perfection. Still, many people wonder whether fruit contains too much sugar. It's a reasonable question, especially with so many conflicting nutrition headlines. But whole berries are very different from sugar sweetened beverages or highly refined desserts. The fiber, water, and structure of whole fruit influence how the body digests and absorbs natural sugars. This is why most dietary guidelines encourage eating whole fruits rather than avoiding them altogether. Scientists continue emphasizing that the health effects of a food depend on the complete package in which nutrients are delivered. A blueberry isn't simply sugar, it's a complex combination of fiber, vitamins, minerals, water, and hundreds of phytochemicals interacting together. This is another example of the food matrix at work. And this is where many nutrition myths begin to fall apart. We often isolate one nutrient and assume it tells the whole story. But foods are much more than the sum of their individual parts. Researchers repeatedly find that dietary patterns rich in minimally processed plant foods are associated with healthier aging than diets dominated by ultra processed products. That doesn't require perfection, it requires direction. Moving gradually toward more whole foods, more colorful produce, more dietary diversity, more consistency. Speaking of diversity, scientists have become increasingly interested in eating a wide range of plant foods throughout the week. Each plant contains its own collection of phytochemicals. Some emphasize anthocyanins, others provide flavonols, others contribute carotenoids or different polyphenols. Together, they create a nutritional landscape far richer than any single food could provide. Think of your diet as building a resilient ecosystem rather than searching for one heroic ingredient. That's a much more realistic way to approach lifelong health. Of course, berries are only one piece of the picture. If someone regularly eats berries but also sleeps very little, rarely exercises, experiences chronic unmanaged stress, and consumes mostly ultra processed foods, the benefits of berries alone are unlikely to outweigh those other factors. Health is cumulative. Small decisions interact with one another. Regular walking supports circulation. Resistance training helps preserve muscle and bone. Quality sleep allows the brain and immune system to recover. Stress management influences hormones and inflammation. Social connection supports emotional and cognitive well-being. Nutritious foods provide the raw materials the body uses every day. These habits don't compete, they reinforce one another. Researchers studying longevity consistently observe this pattern across cultures. The healthiest populations don't depend on one intervention. They create environments where healthy choices become ordinary parts of daily life. So, where do microplastics fit into this larger story? Scientists are still working to answer that question. Research into microplastics is advancing rapidly, but many uncertainties remain. What we do know is that reducing unnecessary exposure where practical and supporting overall health through evidence based lifestyle habits is a sensible approach. That may include practical choices such as limiting unnecessary single use plastics when possible, avoiding overheating food in certain plastic containers unless they are specifically designed for that purpose, choosing fresh foods more often when practical, and maintaining a diet rich in fruits, vegetables, legumes, nuts, and whole grains. Rather than searching for a dramatic detox, researchers increasingly emphasize strengthening the body's normal protective systems. Your liver already performs thousands of chemical reactions every day. Your kidneys filter enormous volumes of blood. Your digestive system continuously renews itself. Your immune system constantly monitors your internal environment. These systems evolved over millions of years. They don't need miracle products. They benefit from consistent support. And that's where everyday foods become surprisingly powerful. A cup of berries may seem almost too simple. It doesn't come with flashy marketing, it isn't promoted as a miracle. Yet simplicity is often a hallmark of good science. Healthy habits tend to be remarkably ordinary. Preparing more meals at home, choosing colorful produce, staying physically active, sleeping enough, managing stress, avoiding tobacco, maintaining healthy relationships, repeating those choices again tomorrow. The remarkable thing is that these ordinary actions accumulate. One meal doesn't determine your future, neither does one workout or one good night's sleep. But thousands of those moments, added together over years and decades, can influence the trajectory of healthy aging. That's exactly why researchers focus so much on long term dietary patterns instead of quick fixes. If you enjoy blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, or blackberries, including about 1 cup as part of a balanced diet is a practical habit supported by a growing body of nutritional research. Mix them into plain yogurt, add them to oatmeal, blend them into a smoothie with leafy greens, or simply enjoy them on their own. Frozen berries can be just as convenient and often provide excellent nutritional value. Most importantly, remember what this story is really about. It's not about finding one food that solves every problem. It's about understanding how countless small choices influence the body's remarkable biology. Every healthy meal is a signal. Every walk is a signal. Every night of restorative sleep is a signal. Every moment of movement is a signal. Together, these signals help shape the environment in which your cells operate every day. Modern science continues revealing just how adaptable the human body truly is. Even as we learn more about environmental challenges like microplastics and the role of chronic inflammation, the research repeatedly points back to familiar foundations: whole foods, regular movement, restorative sleep, strong social connections, and sustainable habits. These are not shortcuts, they are long term investments. And perhaps that's the most encouraging message of all. You don't have to transform your life overnight to support healthier aging. You simply have to begin. Because the decisions we make today may seem small, but over years and decades, those choices can shape how we age, how we feel, and how long we remain healthy. That's why understanding the science matters.